pulled. I can guarantee it. Probably right now, you have people texting you, sending you messages saying, do you know that this is live on TV somewhere in the universe? And there's all these strangers who have never cared anything about the party who have showed up today. Cool. We welcome you. We're so happy you're here. But please don't be distracted. Please focus on what we're doing here and your job. And so some of the things I'm going to have to say you're going to like, some of the things you're not going to like. But my job is to tell you like it is. First of all, the Horns are going to win big today. I'm ready. I was hoping my first. Okay, yeah, there we go. Hey, oh, and I do, I'm not very quick to endorse anybody. Brad Johnson, I'm endorsing you today for state rep. Okay, let's get started. Next slide. Okay, so at RPT, we like to keep it 100. Okay, so what does that mean? We tell you the truth. We tell you like it is. That's what we're going to do here today. Next slide. Last session, we had the unlawful impeachment of our duly elected Attorney General. And so what did we do as a body, as a delegation at state convention? We changed our rules. Okay. So we added penalty 3, which has never been done before. It's brand new. We added that any county party could originate a censure of the speaker. So y'all know what I'm talking about? Okay. So it's important to understand the derivation of these rule changes. Next slide. This session, we had a speaker fight, and we were in it. As the chairman said, the party, we have in our platform that the Republican caucus should follow what the Republican caucus does. And we insisted that that be done. It wasn't, but we were in that fight. Next slide. We had people like the TRCCA president making these kinds of statements about us, and about a state rep saying that we're irrelevant. And so what did this do? Did it make the grassroots just sit back and say, oh, everything's cool? No, it made the grassroots activated. It made you activated. And I want to take you through this so you understand why we're where we are today. Next slide. You had people like this man who, we're thankful for you, Ralphite. This man said, it's sad some Boss Tweed wannabes in the Texas GOP try to claim the mantle of the grassroots. So these kinds of messages on social media, these kinds of messages at meetings of Republican groups, this generated a lot of animosity and hate and shoot, I think some county parties tried to censure people who hadn't even taken office yet. So that's what was going on. Next slide. We even had a state representative try to throw our chairman in jail, actually prison. So he filed a complaint against our state chairman, claiming he had committed a felony. Okay? Do you think that made everyone unify or not? No. Next slide. A lot of people who are talking about this, they didn't even show up at the Capitol this session. even submit comments on bills. They're just in their basement tweeting about us, about things. They're not in the fight. Everybody here is in the fight. Next slide. By the way, that's Andy Eller, who was our well, now he's our resolutions committee chairman. But at the time, he was our elections chairman, and he was fighting for us at the Capitol, and like so many of you, reviewing bills. It takes a lot of work to follow the legislation. Matt Tiskus is nodding, he knows. How long did it take for you to get school choice? How many sessions? Right, a lot. It took a long time. So this session, right off the bat, we did get school choice, and President Trump did endorse all of the Republican caucus members who supported school choice. And so who is that? That's all but 2. Okay, so Representatives Van Dever and Phelan did not vote for school choice. Everyone else right now for the next term has an endorsement of our president. We also got 5 new congressional seats. And so that's what happened this session. Next slide. And then when the Democrats ran away, what did that do? Did that help us unify?
Yes.
Yes, it did. And so you will remember that. Next slide. And then on Thursday, so in September, we sued the state of Texas and the Secretary of State to close our primary. Y'all know that? Okay, we did that. On Thursday, we filed a motion for a consent judgment in conjunction with Attorney General Ken Paxton representing the state of Texas. That is what's going on in our lawsuit. So I want you to think about all the work that went in to setting us up for success in that lawsuit. It took a lot of work, I can tell you. And it's not over, but this is an example of a successful setup for a lawsuit and for a good result that we want. Okay? Next slide. Rolando does tweet, not from the basement. And this was, to me, I think it's a very important tweet because I do agree. There's been a lot of discussion about what we're doing here today, what's happening. A lot of people who aren't involved or want to misuse the process. And I want to alert you to that, that is real. There are some people who want to, there are lawyers involved, let me just say. Okay? And so a lot of this is generated by lawyers. So it's people spinning people up and doing things. And one possible reason is they want a legal fight to try to undo the good work we've done in our closed primary lawsuit. They also may want a legal fight so they can try to defeat our wonderful chairman at next convention. Who knows what they're thinking? But I want you to know that that is real. And so I thought that Rolando put it very well, and I wanted you to be aware of this because some of you may be sitting there going, I know all this, Rachel, whatever, let's move on. But a lot of you don't. And so I'm speaking to everyone, and I'm going to go through some things you may or may not know, but it's vital that you understand them. Next slide. Okay, fundamentals of censure. Today, next slide, you have 10 censure resolutions that will be considered. Next slide. Let me just say in your digital packet, this is available for you to look at. So if you look at this and say, I want to refer to this as we go along, you have it available to you. But this is a summary of each censure resolution that is being considered today. Next slide. So you have to have 3 several actions in order to have a successful censure. And the actions must be in opposition to the core principles of the Republican Party of Texas or our legislative priorities. Next slide. You know our legislative priorities, but they are referenced here. They are also referenced on our website. Next slide. And the platform principles are also on our website. They're also listed in this document that's available to the members. Next slide. I look at today's work in 2 phases, and some of you who watch Law and Order may understand this. There is the guilt-innocence phase, and then there's the punishment phase. So I think that's the easiest way to think about the work that we're going to be doing here today. The first phase is, do you concur? So some people either can't read or don't seem to understand. Censure resolutions under our rules start at the grassroots level, start at the county party. So these are censure resolutions from our county parties. What are you asked to do as SREC members? You're asked to concur or not. And in order to concur, what level of membership is needed in a vote to concur? 3/5, okay? So that's the first step here, is the concurrence phase, and 3/5 of the full membership is required. Next slide. Then there's the penalty phase. All of the 10 censures today, except for the speaker censure, have requested penalties 1, 2, and 3. Again, the speaker censure only requests penalties 1 and 2, and I have the penalties here. Next slide. Penalty 1 is laid out here. It's in our rules. It's also in your digital packet. Penalty 2 is the next slide, and then penalty 3 is the slide after that. To be very clear, penalty 3 is brand new. We have never used it before. It is a death penalty. And I better not say that. I was gonna, the death penalty is for what? Child killers? Yes. Yes, exactly. Robert Roberson. But the death penalty is for the worst case. Does everybody understand that? It's not for the worst case this session. It's not an annual award. And I think some people are misunderstanding what the point is of censure. The point of censure is not an annual award or a legislative term award. Censure is something that should be used as necessary, break glass when needed. And the death penalty should be very sparingly used. Okay, next slide. This is the Jim Pickle rule. At convention, last convention, this indemnification was added. And so let me take you through that process really quickly. Some of the members who have a censure consideration today, they will register. If they choose to run again, they will submit their application for filing with their local county party. Some their filing authority is the state party. Let me explain that. If a state representative, if their district is in one county, their filing authority is that county chair. If they have a multi-county district, their filing authority is the state chairman. Does everybody understand that? Next slide. This is the new speaker rule that was a result of last session. Next slide. You have fiduciary duties. We have talked about these over time. Next slide. You have a duty of care. You have a duty to pay attention to our organization's activities and operations. Next slide. You have a duty of loyalty. You have a duty to put the interest of the organization before any of your own interests. You hear me? Okay. So what does that mean? So if you really like someone who's running for office, you would not misuse or use your position as an SREC member to help that person. Okay, does that make sense? And what would be an okay thing to do under the duty of loyalty is to endorse someone. Okay, so let's say there's a state rep who you don't like, or they don't line up with your line of thinking. Well, go recruit somebody to run against them, a viable candidate, and endorse them, work for them, give them your time, talent, treasure. That would be acceptable. But trying to, promoting a censure resolution just to promote yourself or someone else that you support is not the way to go. Next slide. You have a duty of obedience. I could make it funny, but I'm not. Duty to obey. And that just means to comply with law. Now, some would say, oh, well, you are not complying with law with the closed primaries. No, that's different. We are challenging the law. And we have taken years to set that up and develop that challenge. That is very different than flagrantly not following the law. Okay, next slide. We have said this before, I'm going to say it again. This is not about feelings. In fact, an example. There's one representative who I have heard a recording of in a phone call, and it was abhorrent. What was said, especially about a woman who I held in the most highest esteem. I do not like that person. I think that was awful. That was horrible. They're one of the people there's a censure resolution against this person. Being a horrible person doesn't mean you should be censured. That is not part of the criteria. Does it mean you should find a candidate to run against them and you should give them their time, your endorsement? And can you imagine if the whole SREC endorsed somebody? But I want you to understand this point, it's really important, is just because somebody is unlikable and has done something despicable does not mean they should be censured. Next slide. Censure should be meaningful. Up until now, these censures that the Republican Party of Texas and the State Republican Executive Committee have considered, the process has been, no one has been able to question it. No one has been able to, because it's been followed and you had the support of the grassroots in doing what you're doing. Right now, you may be hearing from certain people, because I know you are, but the grassroots is divided. The grassroots, you have some censure resolutions that have come from some county parties, but you also have some resolutions that have come from county parties that say do not do this, and certainly do not implement penalty 3. So there is a divide there. You may be hearing from one side or the other, you may be seeing one side or the other, but there are two sides. And then there's the lawyers. Next slide. Understand your power and authority as an SREC member. As I said before, today you could find candidates to run against people, you can endorse people, you can work for people, some of you are doing just that. So you have that authority right now. You propose resolutions all the time. You can make public statements. You can do a lot of things. There's a lot of tools in your tool belt. This isn't the only one. But this is one that can get us to court. Next slide. Next slide. As I said, on Thursday, we had a joint motion that we filed in our closed primary lawsuit. We are off to the races. On the legal issue front, at the beginning of the year, TRCCA they hired some lawyers. I don't think they're Republican, but don't know. Had some lawyers draft a memo saying assessing penalty 3 was illegal. I think there has been a lot of stoking the fire. There have been people who have gone to county parties and threatened to throw precinct chairs in jail. There have been people who have gone to county parties and threatened to file lawsuits and ruin people's lives, ruin precinct chairs' lives. That's wrong. That's awful. That's horrible. But that's separate and apart from what we're doing here today. There are actions that we can take against that, but I want you to understand that's a lot of noise out there. And from the other side, a lot of things have been handled the wrong way. Now, back to Rolando's point, is it intentional? Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe incompetence. I don't know. But we need to look at the facts, not our feelings. Next slide. I'm going to go through these very quickly. You have this, but the next part of my presentation is going through some of the allegations, actually all of them. And if you go to the next slide, we're going to start with record votes 2 and 3. These are the speaker votes. And you go to the next slide. The way I did this is organized all 10 censure resolutions by act or allegation. And so if you look at this slide, this is record votes 2 and 3. And so record votes 2 and 3 appear in these office holders' resolutions. And so the first column is the office holder. The second column is the record vote that's in resolution. The third column is what principle or priority is alleged to have been violated. Let me take you through that. So in the resolution against Speaker Burrows, record votes 2 and 3, somebody wants to punish him for voting for himself. So record votes 2 and 3 for Burrows are the record votes at issue. And then they're saying that was a violation of Principle 5, which Principle 5 is personal accountability and responsibility. Okay. All of these need to be strictly read. So what I mean is, have any of you ever served on a jury? That's kind of course you have, because y'all are awesome. Thank you for going to jury duty. That's the way I think of this. And I really encourage you, for the rest of the day, turn off your devices, turn them on, do not disturb, do not listen to the outside noise. This is like when you go into the jury room and you shut that door behind you and it's just the 12 of y'all. Of course, it's more than 12, but that's where we're at here. And so in a trial, the jury has a jury charge. That is what these resolutions are. You can't change, I mean, you can amend them here today, but you can't add anything to them. You can only take back things that are on them. Do you understand that? So you have what you've been given, and that is what you are considering. So for Speaker Burrows, record votes 2 and 3 for himself, you can't say, I actually think that that's a violation of legislative priority 4. That's not what was alleged, so you cannot change that. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, so record votes 2 and 3, these are the office holders, their record votes, they're the alleged violation of principal priority. Next slide. And this, again, this is in your digital packet. It's as a PDF, and it takes you through every act and every allegation. So this record vote 2 happened on January 14. It was the speaker vote. On the first vote, which is record vote 2, Dustin Burrows received 71 votes, Anna Maria Rodriguez Ramos received 23, and David Cook received 56. So on that first vote, no one received the requisite number. Next slide. Then, following that, and this is the pattern for every act and allegation that you have access to, is here is the actual list of who voted for what. So for Speaker Burrows, these were the votes. Next slide. And then next slide, this is who voted for David Cook on record vote 2. Next slide. Then at the end, on every act and allegation, you have a list of all the Republicans who voted the way that is being alleged to be a violation. Okay. So here are the list of 34 Republicans who voted for Dustin Burrows on record vote 2. Next slide. Next slide is record vote 3. So same thing here. So here is the date of the offense and kind of a description of what happened. And then next slide is the actual vote information. Next slide. And then next slide. Then you have who voted the same way. Does that make sense to everyone? Okay, I'm gonna kind of blow through these, and if you have questions that come up, you can ask them. Next slide. So record votes 9 and 10. This is on House Resolution 4. Next slide. So record votes 9 and 10, there are 2 pages of office holders where this is included in their censure resolution. And if we start, I'm not trying to pick on the speaker, but he's just alphabetically at the top. So Speaker Burrows, that allegation is record vote 9, and the allegation is that it violates Principle 5, personal accountability and responsibility. So what is HR 4? HR 4 is the House rules. There was some confusion about this at our legislative task force meeting, so let me explain what happened. If we go to the next slide, following, next slide, yeah. House Resolution 4 that was the House rules. It came up for consideration and was going along, and then Representative Patterson had a motion to call the previous question for adoption of the House rules. And some individuals had signed on to that motion. So if you go to the next slide, these are the people who seconded his motion. That is not one of the allegations, but I wanted to include it in here so you could understand the process. Next slide. Then when it came up for a vote, 46 Republicans voted to second no, I'm sorry, we're not there yet. Hold on. These are the 46 Republicans who signed on to second the motion. So we had 46 Republicans sign on to second the Patterson motion to call the question. Next slide. Then record vote 9, okay. Record vote 9 is the Patterson motion. And this is the vote on the Patterson motion. So on the vote motion to second. Next slide. If there are relevant statements of vote, I have included them here in the presentation. So here, what does that mean? So what are statements of vote? So some of you who aren't in the legislature every day may not have seen this. So after a vote is taken, sometimes people, it's very hectic. Sometimes people vote the wrong way for one reason or another, or realize, oh my gosh, I did not mean to do that. And so they can make a statement of vote. And so you see here, for example, Representative Kane says, when record vote 9 was taken, I was shown voting yes, I intended to vote no. Technically, that does not change the vote, okay? But it's something you need to consider and you need to know. And so every time there's a statement of vote that's relevant, it is included in the information that you have received. Next slide. So 50 Republicans voted for the Patterson motion in record vote 9. Next slide. Record vote 10 is the vote on the House rules, House Resolution 4. And next slide is record vote 10. So that's the vote information, followed by the statement of vote is the next slide. And then the next slide is how many Republicans, and it's listed out, voted the same way. And this is where you saw some people have looked at everything that is being presented here and said, well, my goodness, some representatives who you may or may not like could have been censured. So that's where they're getting it from, is they're looking at all the Republicans who voted the same way as the allegations here. Next slide. Subcommittee chairmanships. Next slide. This is an allegation against Speaker Burrows. So his censure resolution has 3 allegations in them, and an argument could be made it's duplicative. This says that the act is that he appointed 6 subcommittee Democrat chairs. Next slide. This is the list of them. And then the next slide. Our legislative priority on no Democrat chairs says awarding committee chairmanships to Democrats. So this is an example of, it's very important to not read in outside information into the resolutions. The resolutions are what they are, and the rules and the priority and the principles are what they are. There's not things that you can read into it to change it. Next slide. Record vote 3432, House Bill 34. Next slide. There's 2 office holders alleged to have committed a violation here. Next slide. And This information shows the date of the alleged offense, and I have noted in here that it's not included in our legislative task force report. So this is a little perplexing, so I would caution you to really look closely at this one. And then if you follow the next slide, it takes you through the record vote. Next slide. And 82 Republicans voted to concur. So 82 Republicans voted the same way. Next slide. These are 3 record votes at issue. House Bill 366. Next slide. This is an allegation against Representative Lambert, and the allegation is that he violated Principle 1. I urge you to look closely at these principles and the allegations here as to how it matches up with the act. Next slide. This information shows you what the date of the offense is. House Bill 366 was by Dave Phelan, and it relates to required disclosures on certain political advertising that contains altered media. And this is not included in the legislative task force report. Next slide. This shows you the record vote. Next slide. There are some relevant statements. Next slide. 45 Republicans voted for this bill. Next slide. This is record vote 981. Another vote on the same bill. So this is a vote on an amendment by Representative Hopper. Representative Hopper offered an amendment to exclude application of the bill to advertising about members of the legislature. And next slide. This is the record vote. Next slide. We have some relevant statements. Next slide. And 53 Republicans voted against. So this is an example where the allegation is a vote against an amendment. And so you have here at your disposal a list of Republicans who voted the same way as the allegation. Next slide. Then this is record vote 982. Next slide. Same bill, different record vote. And there are 6 representatives at issue here in this allegation. Next slide. Next slide. So we have statements here. Next slide. And 43 Republicans voted the same way. Next slide. This is record vote 1848, Senate Bill 17. Next slide. There are 4 representatives who this is an allegation against them. And you'll see here that some, the principal or priority referenced is priority 7. And then we have one where principle 3. Next slide. This is the Shaheen and Button Amendment number 4, and it added the language "and is not lawfully present and residing in the United States at the time the individual purchases, acquires, or holds the interest." This language, Deborah Fight put a lot of effort into making sure this language was taken out, and the bill was passed, ultimately passed without the amendment, and is included in our report as a win, big win. And you can flow through that. And you'll see, so that's the record vote, statements of vote. That, you know, this is an interesting one because record vote 1848. So this is where a record vote happened. And, you know, I'm a lawyer, so I don't count. I don't do numbers, but I think we have like 15 representatives changing their vote and I use that term loosely, but in their statements, making statements about their vote. And so what does that signal to you? That there was confusion, that a lot of people didn't understand the impact at the time, Also, when you see this, a lot of times it's because of your advocacy. So you've been working hard and you've said, what are you doing? and let them know that they've done something wrong. And that's really what happened here. Next slide. Record votes 3541 and 3545. This is for Senate Bill 22. Next slide. You have 5 office holders who, this is in their censure resolutions. Next slide. It's the Hollywood bill. Of course, I'm good. I mean, Matthew McConaughey. I'd want to vote for him too, maybe. I don't know. Starstruck. Anywho, so this is the Hollywood bill, and you can go through the next slide. Yeah, next slide. So there's some statements of vote here, and then 50 Republicans voted for this bill. Next slide. This is another record vote on that same bill. Next slide. Next slide. Some more statements. Next slide. And we had 52 Republicans who voted for the bill. Next slide. These are 3 record votes for Senate Bill 1. What's Senate Bill 1? The budget. Thank you. I'm just making sure y'all are still awake. Next slide. 3 allegations here against the office holders. Let me give you an example of how this is written here. So you'll see Representative Harris, record vote 174 is implicated in his censure resolution, and principle 4, 5, and 9 are the allegations. Representative Orr, record vote 174, but Representative Patterson, there's 3 record votes at issue. So this is an example of where it's some of the record votes are the same, but some are added on. Does that make sense? Okay. Next slide. So this just goes through what the allegations are. So this record vote 154 is on Senate Bill 1. And if you'll keep going, next slide and next slide, 69 Republicans voted for the bill. Next slide. Representative Tinderholt offered a motion to instruct the conference committee to seek opportunities to fund an additional $4 billion in new property tax relief under Article 3. Does that sound good or not? That sounds good. Well, Representatives Harris, Orr, and Patterson voted for that motion. Next slide. You'll see they voted for. Next slide. 86 Republicans voted for that motion. Next slide. Record vote 4101. This is adopting the conference committee report. Next slide. You'll see the record vote on that. And 62 Republicans voted for the bill. Next slide. Record vote 3537, Senate Bill 3070. This is an allegation against Representative Harris, and record vote 3537, alleging he violated principles 4, 5, and 9. Next slide. Representatives Money, Alcott, and Hopper offered an amendment to abolish the state lottery. And Representative Guerin moved to table the amendment. Next slide. Next slide. And 26 Republicans voted to table the amendment. And they're listed here. Next slide. Record vote 2198, House Bill 2858. Next slide. This is an allegation against Representative Lambert that he violated Principle 9 with record vote 2198. Next slide. House Bill 2858 by Democrat Ray Lopez establishes a temporary guest worker program. I'm looking to see if Rolando is paying attention. This was not his bill. Next slide. This is the record vote result, and 7 Republicans voted for House Bill 2858. Okay, record votes 343 and 392 on House Bill 805. There's 4 allegations here. Next slide. And this is Patrick Wamhoff's favorite bill, House Bill 805 by Cortez, relates to a study by the Public Utility Commission of Texas on the interconnection of electric transmission service facilities with Mexico. You know we already have interconnections with Mexico. Okay. Oh boy, and it's a study. But anyways, next slide. Next slide. So statements, we have 3 statements of vote. Next slide. And 35 Republicans voted for House Bill 805. Next slide. Same bill, different vote. So record vote 392. Next slide. Takes you through the record vote information. Next slide is a statement of vote by Representative Kitzman. And then a final slide on 32 Republicans voted for House Bill 805. Next slide. Record votes 1079 and 1149, House Bill 1359. Next slide. 3 representatives, it's included in their censure resolutions. Next slide. Record vote 1079 relates to House Bill 1359 by Hernandez, which relates to a program to provide assistance for certain retail electric customers. Next slide. Here's the record vote information, followed by the statements of vote, followed by the list of 32 Republicans who voted for House Bill 1359. Record vote 1149. May 1st, 2025 is the date of the vote, and this is another vote on House Bill 1359. Next slide. Showing you the record vote. Next slide. Showing you the statements of vote. Next slide. Showing you 38 Republicans voted for the bill. Next slide. Record vote 3938 on Senate Bill 2753. Next slide. This is included in 2 censure resolutions. Next slide. This is, you have heard about this. This is the Shaheen Amendment. Yes, exactly. So I know that y'all are familiar with this. Next slide. Showing you the record vote. Next slide. Showing you the statements of vote. And then you'll see 79 Republicans voted for the Shaheen Amendment. Next slide. House Bill 3162. This was a bill filed by Representative Leach. Next slide. And this bill, he just filed it. So it was House Bill 3162 by Leach, relates to the use of accessible absentee mail system by certain voters. So what is this? It's a mail system for people with disabilities. And so all that happened on this bill is it was filed. Next slide. Record vote 2180, House Joint Resolution 144. Next slide. This is in Representative Leach's censure resolution, record vote 2180. Next slide. House Joint Resolution 144 proposes a constitutional amendment to authorize the creation of a regional mobility authority by local law. Next slide. Shows you the record vote. Next slide. Shows you the statements of vote. Next slide shows you 45 Republicans voted for the resolution. Next slide. House Bill 2459. Next slide. This is in Representative Leach's censure resolution. Next slide. House Bill 2459 was filed by Representative Leach, and it relates to a stay of proceedings pending an, pending an interlocutory appeal of a denial of a motion to dismiss in an action involving the exercise of certain constitutional rights. That's a mouthful. So this bill was filed by him, and that's it. So next slide. Record vote 1392, House Bill 104. Next slide. This is allegations in 2 censure resolutions. Next slide. House Bill 104 relates to the creation of the Texas Future Fund and the Texas Future Fund Investment Review Board. Next slide. You'll have the record vote information. Next slide. You'll have the statements of vote. Next slide. 54 Republicans voted for the resolution. Next slide. Record vote 3901, Senate Bill 974. Next slide. This is in Representative Leach's censure resolution, record vote 3901. Next slide. The bill relates to the eligibility of a person employed by a school district as a teacher to serve on the appraisal review board of an appraisal district. This was not included in the legislative task force report. It actually finally passed, so if you can kind of go through the record vote, here's the record vote information, statement of vote. 22 Republicans voted for the resolution. This actually passed, and the governor vetoed the bill. Next slide. Record vote 3489, Senate Bill 12. Representative Orr, it's in her censure resolution. Next slide. Senate Bill 12 relates to parental rights in public education. And Representative Leach offered an amendment. The allegation is that the amendment is pro-DEI. Next slide is the record vote information. The next slide is the statements of vote. There's about 20. And then the next slide shows 80 Republicans voted for the resolution. Next slide. Record vote 2615, House Bill 2442. Next slide shows Representative Phelan is an allegation against him. Next slide. This is a House Bill 2442 by Representative Busey. Relates to an application for an early voting ballot by mail. Andy Eller testified, actually you didn't testify against it, you registered against the bill, which is all public information. Representative Phelan voted for this bill. Next slide. Showing you the record vote. Next slide showing you the statement of vote. Next slide showing you 3 Republicans voted for the resolution. Next slide. Record vote 2714, House Bill 1738. This is in Representative Phelan's censure resolution. Next slide. This is House Bill 1738, relating to the repeal of the offense of homosexual conduct. Representatives Harrison and Phelan authored the bill. Next slide, showing you the record vote. Next slide, showing you the statements of vote. Next slide, showing you 12 Republicans voted for the resolution. Next slide, Senate Bill 2743. This is in, if you go to the next slide, it's in Representative Phelan's censure resolution. I have noted here that the wrong legislative priority number is cited, just for your records. Next slide. This is Senate Bill 2743 was one of the AG restoration bills, you know, because like we actually believe in election integrity in our party, and Representative Phelan voted with 4 Democrat representatives against the motion to report this bill favorably. Next slide. House Bill 1304. Next slide. This is an allegation against Representative Van Dever. Next slide. So Representative Van Dever chaired the House Public Health Committee and did not advance this bill in his committee. And that is the allegation against him. Next slide. we're done, so take a deep breath. This is just a beautiful drawing that I wanted you to see, and just at the end of this presentation to think about our Capitol. There is this woman, Laura Kravitz, I follow her, and she's a beautiful artist, and so I just wanted you to think about all the people who, and some of you, who make our legislature work. And so I just wanted to acknowledge her and recognize that, all the work she's done. So if y'all have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, but I wanted you to understand the allegations, and I thought it was helpful to group them by allegations so you could see how they're consistent across the resolutions. So thank you for your time, and I look forward to the rest of the day.
Rachel, thank you so much. As you heard, very in detail, and you have the presentation in your digital packet. We have a lot of work ahead of us the rest of the day, but we want to do it right. That's why we took the time to put it together in such a way, even though most of you already read the packet. I know there's at least a couple of you who didn't, just saying. But so I just wanted to make sure everyone's on the same page as we go into the resolutions. At this point, I'm going to recognize Andy Eller, our Resolutions Committee Chair, to come up. And we have a supplemental rules, and we'll get to that. Jim, in a second, Andy's going to make the motion, then we'll get there.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before we get started, we do have the supplemental rules, as he mentioned. So those were provided to you yesterday. So, Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt the supplemental rules, and I do believe that there are some amendments in writing that need to be taken up. Mr. Pickle has 3, and I believe Mr. Trevino has 1. So, Mr. Chairman, I move adoption.
The idea of the supplemental rules are to make our process today easier and fair to all resolutions equally. Jim, I know you shared that you have multiple amendments.
Yes.
Let's go with. Do I have a second for supplemental rules? You have a second. Motion and a second. Jim, your amendment, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jim Pickle, SDA, also the chairman of the SREC Rules Committee. So these proposed supplemental rules went out as a draft either Thursday or Friday.
That's right.
And it's only a draft. And so we got together and we tried to match it up with our bylaws, standing rules, and the RPT rules to make sure that we aren't going to do something here today that's going to be against either a bylaw or a standing rule or a RPT rule. So the draft contains some overlap or some, I call them errors because they would cause us to act in a way that would be contrary to either a bylaw or a standing rule or an RPT rule. So we need to amend the proposal that came about, and I think we have a slide that's going to show what I recommend be changed from the draft proposed rules.
What are your amendments?
The amendments are, they're supposed to be on a slide ready to go for everybody's thinking all.
We'll get it up.
Okay. All right. So supplemental rule 2C is inaccurate. We need to strike that and replace it with each speaker will be allotted 2 minutes of debate time. SREC Standing Rule 7 will be suspended for this special meeting. SREC Standing Rule 7, as everybody knows, it's the Steve Evans rule, which is 3 for, 3 against for 2 minutes each. We don't want to truncate the debate in that way, so we're going to ask to suspend that standing rule and allow 2 minutes each for debate, cabined by, of course.
Jim, like we talked earlier this morning, we're going to go parliamentary rules today, so I need your motion.
Motion is to strike and replace 2C with the language on the screen that is provided.
Do I have a second? Second. All right. Now you're recognized to speak.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Standing Rule 7 is 3 for, 3 against, 2 minutes each. We're going to suspend that rule, and we're gonna let as many people who want to speak for 2 minutes each do so, up to the 30-minute rule for total debate. That's the purpose of this amendment.
You want unlimited amount of people to speak for 2 minutes each.
Correct. That's what this would do. Up to 30 minutes total per resolution.
All right? One second. So this, all right. This is going to, since it is part of our standing rules, it will require a motion to suspend our rules, change this. It will require 2/3 to do that.
Motion to suspend standing rules is a majority vote. This covers it in a majority vote.
That is true. Majority vote is to suspend the standing rules. You're right. Do I have a debate on the amendment?
Point of information.
Sir, Jim?
Mr. Chairman, if you could ask the amender, Jim Pickle, if they have 15 people come up here and speak for 2 minutes, that's the end of 30 minutes. Will there be then a vote, or will that be, sorry, time's over?
No, that will be the end of everything.
So we wouldn't be able to vote then if 15 people came here?
We will be able to vote. That will be the vote. That will be the final vote at that point on the
So
resolution.
there will be a vote at the end of the 30 minutes?
At the end of 30 minutes of this, based on the existing standing rules, I mean, not standing rules, the supplemental rules that we proposed, if we adopted, when 30 minutes hits on a resolution, we will go to a vote.
Okay.
There won't be any more debates on any items or no more amendments, none of those stuff. It will be just take it as it is. We'll vote yay and nay. We'll go for it.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Steve Evans, SD 28. I'd like to speak in favor of this amendment.
Sure.
This is a very important day for everybody here. To just say we're going to do 3 for, 3 against, might create a situation where there may only be 1 for, a bunch of against, and we're only going to spend 4 minutes debating something that has this much importance. What this does is it unrestricts that. The previous question is still in order if you want to move it. Item D, to further answer Dale's question, actually is a previous question trigger. So at 30 minutes, the question is called and we vote. This will allow more people to take the mic, more debate to occur, and still respect the 30-minute time limit and still leave the previous question in order.
Thank you, sir. Anyone against this motion to amend the proposed standing rule?
Point of information, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to echo over my if there's an amendment, so does the 30 minutes cover the entire censure or is it?
Entire censure. No, sir. We're not. The idea, because there's 10 censures on table. If we take 30 minutes for each censure and our lunch break, we're going to be here for 6 hours by itself. So we're at that point. So the entire censure, we don't. The one of the thing I don't want to do, the reason why I put that proposal out there is I don't want to debate on one censure for 2 hours and everybody else gets 3 minutes, 5 minutes on a censure. We want to be fair to every representative. They get 30 minutes on it, every censure, and we move on. So if there are amendments in the middle, all of that is jumped into that 30 minutes altogether. Once the 30 minutes hits, nothing happens after that. All we do is clicker and we move on. Any other questions? Anyone against this proposal? Seeing none, let's vote on it. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. The amendment passes. Do I have any other amendments to this proposed rules?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, Jim Pickle, SD. We also need to, or propose to strike and replace supplemental rule 3B which is the way we're going to vote. And if I can pull that up, it's still on 2 on the screen. We need to pull up 3.
Can you pull up the supplemental rule 3?
There we go. Okay. Strike and replace the entirety of B and put the following in. Now we need to go to what I'm asking for to be put in there.
3B. Okay,
Hang on. Almost there.
what's the language?
Language is for 3B, voting on all votes except final votes for concurrence on the entire resolution will be by voice vote unless 20% of the body requests a roll call vote. That's right out of our bylaws. So voice vote unless 20% move to have a roll call vote on every vote except final resolution concurrence.
All of our votes today, except for the final resolution itself, the concur vote, and the penalty imposements, if there are any, will be by clicker. All other will be by voice vote, except if there is a clarification needed, 20% of the body, which will take 64, so we're talking about 13 people or 14 people to request, then we will go to a clicker.
And then
Does that make sense?
The second.
Do I have a second on
Well,
this?
that's the first sentence. This is the second sentence of the same motion to strike and replace. Voting on final adoption will be by roll call vote.
Yeah, I think I said that. Yes, sir.
Is that how does that differ from what we would normally do in our local?
It doesn't. It really, it's the same.
It's striking.
Usually, if there is I can ask, okay, so you stand or sit, but it's usually the body, yeah. Yes, sir. Any other point of order or point of information or opposition to this rule? I'm seeing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. Amendment passes.
One final one.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman. 3D, which is in the final rules, it says 3/5 vote to concur. You can read it there on the screen. We need to strike and replace that with motions to amend concurrence resolutions by striking require a majority vote. Per Rule 44, which is not in this right now, final adoption of concurrence resolutions will require a 3/5 vote. So strike 3D and add this language.
Everything is, any amendment by Robert's rules is majority anyway. So I don't see why we're doing this.
Because we need to strike out the part above it and put in.
What are we striking?
We're striking 3D as it's written in the proposed rules and changing it to what I just read.
What did you read?
Motions to amend concurrence resolutions by striking require a majority vote. Per Rule 44, final adoption of concurrence resolutions will require a 3/5.
All right, I'm good with that. Any questions on this? Seeing none, do I have a second? Did I have a second for this? Yes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, amendment passes.
Mr. Chairman, that's all I have, and I yield.
Thank you.
I have an amendment.
Tony, yes, go ahead.
Tony Trevino, Senate District 21. Going to move for a new section, Section 4, Disclosure of Interest. It would read that all SREC members who are supporting, whether publicly or privately, any candidate who is running for office against any legislator whose censure is before us today must declare this fact publicly before the SREC members present on October 11, 2025, and supporting includes verbal support and monetary or in-kind support.
Okay, do I have the language? Rachel, do you have the language? Is it, can you guys see it? Yes. Do I have a second for this? Okay, I have a motion to amend the supplemental rules and a proposed supplemental rules and change it.
Mr. Chairman,
What is happening with the screen? Can I get the screen working? All right, while they're working on it,
I have a point of
turn
order
it on.
on this.
So your intent is, do I have a second on this? We got a second? I think Jeremy's already a second. All right, would you like to speak for it?
Mr. Chairman,
Wait a
I have a
minute,
point of information.
we'll get there.
Mr. Chairman, this is just common sense. It's in favor of transparency. People need to know.
Can you speak for the intent of your change? Because I'm a little confused as well. You can tell me what it is.
It is asking for anyone who is on the SREC to stand up before all of us today and state publicly whether they are supporting, either publicly or privately, any of the candidates who are running for office against any of the legislators who have censures before us today.
Okay, you're trying to establish if there is a conflict of interest.
That is correct.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Yes, sir. Sorry, I'm coming to you. I'll come to you in a second.
Mr. Chairman, Rachel Horton, SD30, I'd like to speak against this, honestly.
Okay,
As it's
go
written.
ahead.
I don't, if that's in order at this point in time.
It is.
Okay, as I'm reading this, all SREC members who are supporting, whether publicly or privately, that's something I don't quite understand, but any candidate who's running for office against a legislator, I am assuming that this means endorsement. And I'm seeing at the bottom here that supporting includes verbal support and monetary or in-kind support. So are we anticipating, like if I gave $5 to Andy Hopper, does that mean that his opponent, or should he be censured if I'm
If he has an opponent, that this motion, this supplemental rule will force any member who has already promised or supported or supporting an existing member or not an existing member, anyone who is running against anyone who is getting censured today.
And
Yes.
that would be my point in rising, I guess, against this, because I'm pretty positive as political activists that 95% of this body should be rising and saying, well, I have a disclosure to make. Because that's all of us, pretty much.
Okay,
So that's that.
thank you.
Don't like the motion.
All right, anyone in favor of this? You want
Chris Rowe, SD3 speaking in favor.
to?
I am publicly and privately supporting every candidate that runs against one of these men who is about to be censured.
That is not what's on the table right now. Let's go back. I told you I will become meaner if we start this, but let's stay within what we're trying to accomplish now, which is a motion from Tony Trevino that if you guys don't like it, you can vote it down, but, yes, sir.
Speaking against,
Yes, sir.
Rolando Garcia, SD15. A couple of these resolutions do have conflict of interest issues, and we'll get into that later. However, a conflict of interest is if an SREC is a candidate or if they are in paid employment by a candidate. Simply tweeting in support of a candidate does not constitute a conflict of interest, and so therefore does not require disclosure. So please vote this rule change down.
Thank you. Thanks for fixing the screen. I don't know who did that. Daniel, appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. Are you speaking against?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Lisa Hendrickson, SREC SD12. I rise against it for one clarification. There are no candidates on the ballot until filing opens on November 7th and closes December 8th. So how do we declare who we're publicly or privately supporting if filing is not open?
Thank you. I'll take that as a point of order. I'm not going to take it out, but now, do we have any more discussion on this matter? Seeing none, we're going to go to a vote. If you say aye to this, and if all of you who support somebody, we'll have to get up and disclose that. If you strike it down, it will, well, you don't have to. All in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. Nay. All right, the nays have it. The amendment fails. Are there any other amendments to the supplemental rules? None has been given to us, so all in favor of the supplemental rules, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. The rules is passed for today's meeting only. I have, by the supplemental rules, I need to time everything, so I have Leah up there. She is going to time the body. 30 minutes once the resolution starts. That starts with his presentation, then we will end it at 30-minute mark. Anyone who is speaking in favor of opposition will essentially have 2 minutes each, but we will have multiple people. There is no limit until 30 minutes hits. Are we good?
Sorry, Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
information, do they have to be equal for and against during that 30 minutes?
Not with this amendment. Everyone can speak against, everyone can speak in favor. Yes, ma'am. I would suggest you don't do that so we can actually get to the work, but it's up to you. You guys change the rules, so it's your rules. Are we good? Any other questions before we get started? Once we started, we're not going back to this. We haven't even started. All right, 5-minute break before we get going. 12:50, we'll come back. We'll go to lunch around 11:50, my bad. We'll go to lunch around 12:30, maybe 12:45, after 1 or 2 resolutions. Without an objection, we'll go to recess for 5 minutes.